Breaking right now, even Netflix have turned on Harry and Meghan. They have been roasted at the streaming network's official bash by the comedian John Mulaney. But this is really significant, actually, because it does suggest that even the streaming company that backed them for success, that paid them $100 million, knows that they are dealing with the biggest flop in entertainment. Let me take you through this story right now. So, Deadline reports Prince Harry and Meghan Markle weren't present at Netflix's annual programming event, but the royal pair did catch some strays. John Mulaney, who is returning to the streamer with a new live variety talk show, as in he's their big new star, took aim at the Montecito residents as he was promoting the show. Not since Harry and Meghan has Netflix given more money to someone without a specific plan, he joked. Now, the Daily Mail had a lot more on what went on during this event, and it really is worth looking into it. So they say there were clips of colourful documentaries starring Victoria Beckham, Eddie Murphy, and former President Barack Obama. They were featured prominently. Yet one of Netflix's best-known collaborators, the Duchess of Sussex, was barely mentioned at the event, even though her lifestyle show With Love Meghan is due to be released in March. Worse, in another sign that America is falling out of love with the royal couple, a leading comedian at the event made Harry and Meghan's filmmaking record the butt of a dismissive joke. Now, they then say that the audience, and this was a very Hollywood audience, a Netflix audience, responded with snickering and a few woes. A source in the auditorium, who was obviously in the entertainment industry, told the Daily Mail, "It was shocking to me that Netflix would seemingly allow Harry and Meghan to be ridiculed at such a prestigious event. The head honchos were all there. And how strange that a show by the couple who signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix barely featured, apart from one brief clip in a montage. Even filmmaker Tyler Perry, the guy who loaned his LA house to the Sussexes after Megxit, got a mention. It really felt like Netflix didn't give a damn." Royal News Network posted on this, "Ouch. This is a really fun experiment. Not since Harry and Meghan has Netflix given more money to someone without a specific plan. Harry and Meghan, the butt of jokes at Netflix event where Meghan's new show hardly featured." So Angela Levin, our Royal Mastermind, Prince Harry's biographer, surely this is the moment for Harry and Meghan to press the panic button, because whether they want to believe it or not, Netflix has turned.
Yeah, they need two panic buttons, one for Netflix and one if Trump decides that he will want the documents opened and to see if Harry lied about his...
Very good point. Well, look, let's come to that shortly because there's new developments on that. But let's tackle the Netflix thing first, because remember, Netflix is paying them more money than anyone else.
Yes, well, they've just given them money, and I think Meghan is so demanding, and I mean, you have to think that she's very, very powerful like that she goes on, and I know she's doing that at the moment, that she demands more money, and she demands that they help her do her best. But really, I think she just goes ahead without too much thinking and certainly not much listening. And if something's wrong, she just screams and shouts, but she won't let this go, because this could possibly be the last thing that they do for Netflix, because in September, it might be it is the end of this agreement, and it just depends whether they would be interested in doing another one. I mean, because they're no longer popular at all, really, it's gone absolutely through the drains. They might not want to do it.
And the thing is, Meghan tried everything, didn't she? She even befriended Ted Sarandos, the boss of Netflix. And I think she did so in a very, how do I put it, manipulative manner, Angela, because the way that she befriended Ted Sarandos was by really tapping into the fact that he has a mixed race partner. So it was like, oh, there's something similar about us. Let's go to the Beyonce concert together. But I think even Ted Sarandos now knows that Harry and Meghan are deeply unpopular. And he has conceded in the past that really the only people who watch their show are watching to poke fun or laugh or hate them, which is exactly the way that Harry and Meghan were used at the Netflix event. And I mean, how embarrassing for them that Victoria Beckham, a woman who they consider below them, a woman who they fell out with Angela Levin because they believed that Victoria Beckham was leaking stories about them to the British media, which is so ironic given that that's all Harry and Meghan do, leak stories to the American media. How embarrassing for them that at this Netflix programming event, her documentary series was considered far, far more appealing to journalists and to advertisers and to the influential figures in the room than Meghan's series.
Well, the thing is, I think that you can feel that Meghan is phony and it's really all about her. Whereas the others, you can feel that it's very alive, and you can feel the attitude they are towards each other, good, better, not so good, and you can feel all the experiences that they're talking about, which you can't really do with Meghan. I think she can't. She wants to be so good and the best of anyone in the whole world that she doesn't really allow herself to be real in those circumstances. It's all, this is what I'm doing, and now I've got a friend here and a giggle. It's just not well planned, really, and it doesn't go smoothly. Like it's like you're having an awkward chat with someone, and you don't quite know what to say next, but you keep on trying, and it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to enjoy something like that.
It is incredibly difficult. And the thing is, if they had any belief in this With Love Meghan, this was the moment to promote it. It's had all of this negative publicity because it's had to be pushed back because of the LA wildfires disaster tourism undertaken by Harry and Meghan. So this was an opportunity to try and turn it around. But just like with Polo, Angela, Netflix is saying, no, we're too embarrassed. I mean, they didn't promote Polo really at all. And now they're doing the same thing with this.
Well, I think this, when they had the initial thing of just showing you what it might be like, it was so terrible, and people found it so phony and embarrassing that they would think, well, we really can't do that again. I think with Polo, I mean, Meghan didn't want much money spent on publicity because she wanted it saved for hers. And so Harry, of course, agreed, and there wasn't much in it. But I remember you and I watching it, it was the most boring thing you could ever find. Just men hitting balls and women being very sort of old fashioned women who did exactly what they were told and were of a type. It was just incredibly boring. It wasn't exciting. You hitting something this way and that way, and that's it. I mean, if you really, really like it, that's different, but you didn't get that impression. So I think that was the problem with that.
Exactly. And
And
the big moment was meant to be the launch of With Love Meghan. But the problem is the trailer comes out, it's trashed all over the American media, it's trashed all over social media. It becomes Netflix's most disliked post ever on YouTube, with hundreds of thousands of people saying, oh my goodness, we don't want this. And the thing is, that Harry and Meghan, this for a fact, Angela, we've reported on it for years, they have such thin skin. So they will be absolutely furious about this joke being made at their expense. They don't take things like this in good humor.
no, absolutely not. No, I mean, I think that's why we haven't seen Meghan and haven't, for quite a long time now, because she just hides. But she does get old friends or some people, I don't know if they're paid or not, to say how wonderful she is. And of course, Harry's been telling her how she's absolutely wonderful about this, because that's his job, isn't it? But she doesn't really believe it deep down. I think a lot of her behavior is because she is unstable about her confidence. You know, she's not confident, and it's hard for her to accept anything that's not very simply wonderful. The rest of it, and she doesn't listen because she doesn't feel that they're right. She can't feel that they can see through some of the things she's doing. So she gets in a real state, and then up comes an idea, often not very good, or nearly always not very good, and she's happy again, very busy. I mean, how you can say, "Come into my home and here is my garden," when it's not yours at all. It's somebody who lives just down the road. It's a very sort of strange thing to do, isn't it? Um,
I know she didn't even bother to film it at her own house. And of course, now lots of desperate reshooting going on because they have to try and pretend that this series was always going to be a celebration of Southern California to try and cash in on the fact that these wildfires have taken place, which is just so awkward because actually Californians are completely disgusted with Harry and Meghan because they were
yeah,
trampling over people's houses that could have contained dead bodies. So look, I
yeah,
think the whole thing is a disaster. I have reported for a long time now, Angela, that there
me
is
too.
no way Netflix is going to renew the deal. Certainly not at any type of the figures that Harry and Meghan might be expecting, but I think probably at this point at all. Because remember, everything has been a disaster. We were meant to get Pearl, the animated series based on Meghan's life. It was axed altogether. There is no success here. And the thing is, yes, Netflix is still atop the streaming services, but the streaming war, Angela, means they cannot keep throwing good money after bad. They can't do that. It's too important for them to achieve hits. So, for example, they're prepared to give lots of money to Shondaland and Shonda Rhimes, but that's only because Bridgerton was the #1 show on Netflix last year. Harry and Meghan are not even in that top list anymore. There's nothing. None of their shows are in there, so they're not going to be receiving this money. But I think for them, their pride is what is going to be so hurt by the fact that they are now a laughingstock in
Yes.
Netflix.
I think Netflix is behaving very well.
Mm,
But the fact that they're not saying anything, or they're not shouting at them, or they're not demanding what they want, not what Harry and Meghan want, shows that they're not very interested because they just want to get rid of them. If you really cared about the people, you would absolutely, have meetings and talk about what's absolutely going wrong, and how you have
yeah,
to change it. But if you
totally.
feel that it's nearly going nowhere, you just might as well smile and not bother, because you don't want to have heart attacks shouting.
Totally, it's not going anywhere exactly, and it's going to be an awkward conversation. Now, look, you mention the growing panic in regards to Donald Trump and the immigration records, and what we have now, Angela, is new material from Suella Braverman, the former Home Secretary of the United Kingdom, weighing in on this, piling the pressure on the Trump administration to release the documentation. Remember, Suella Braverman is a big MAGA supporter. She's very pro-Trump, and this is where the mood music is going. So let me just, before I get your reaction, show you this interview. It's between Niall Gardner of the Heritage Foundation, a man we both know, who is absolutely determined to see Harry's
Yeah.
immigration records become public. And Suella really became the most senior politician in the world to weigh in on this growing controversy thus far. Watch.
In your view, should Prince Harry's immigration records be released by President Trump? You have a new U.S. administration with an entirely different approach towards border security and enforcing the rule of law. What's your view on this matter?
Well, I think that they should be released. Prince Harry is not above the law. If he is choosing to come to the US and reside in America, he needs to follow American rules. And we can't have a situation where there are special rules for him and different rules for another person. If he's broken those rules, transparency dictates that the public should know about it. And I think that he is subject to the law, and the law must be applied without fear or without favour to him as it would any other US citizen or indeed any other foreigner who might try to come into the US. So yes, I do support. And the president has extensive powers in this regard. So regardless of the result from the court, I think it's pretty feasible for the president to direct disclosure of the documents.
So Angela Levin, this now puts Meghan and Harry in an incredibly difficult position because, of course, they want to be speaking up against Donald Trump, but they can't. But first, the reason you're watching this show is because you know that these days it's almost impossible to trust the mainstream media or the so-called fact checkers who claim to patrol social media. And that's for a very good reason, given the Brexit debate, COVID debacle, and demonization of Donald Trump. But I have the solution. Today's sponsor, Ground News, was created by a former NASA engineer to provide you with the only safe way to consume the headlines. So you can go to ground.news/outspoken to check it out for yourself. But what I want to do now is show you this incredible website and app in action. So what we're going to do is take the recent story, you will have heard us talk about it on the show, Elon Musk falling out with Nigel Farage all over Tommy Robinson, the political prisoner. The left-wing legacy media tried to whip this up and destroy all three men. But what's great when you look at the story on Ground News, and you can do this, by the way, with any story in the news, not just this one, but this is just one example. So Ground News has collated the 230 sources in one place. It then instantly shows how the story is being covered by the media, broken down by whether those organizations lean to the left or right. It's called its bias distribution service. Then you can see every article about the topic broken down by the political position and ownership of the publication. So in this case, it shows that Fox News, an outlet on the right, gave a fair analysis, whereas the likes of Mediaite and The Independent on the left didn't, which isn't a surprise, I guess. But what's so great about this app and website is that Ground News gets to know you personally, providing you with news stories you're interested in. You can choose lots of different categories like Brexit or Donald Trump or Premier League football. But it also analyzes your own biases and comes up with potential blind spots that you might not be hearing about. So I know you love the news. That's why you're watching Outspoken. But you probably don't trust the legacy media. Ground News gives you the tools to understand the truth about what is really going on in the world. I can speak personally and say it's now the only way I read the news. I have the app on my phone. It allows me to see through media bias and manipulative narratives without having to rely on the MSM to define what is true. So go to ground.news/outspoken to check it out. You can subscribe through my link for 40% off the Vantage plan, which is what I use for unlimited access. Ground News is all subscriber funded. For less than a Netflix subscription, actually. It means you can get all the world's news in one place and think for yourself. It truly has been a real game changer, I guess, for a news junkie like me. So let me repeat the address, ground.news/outspoken, or you can use the QR code on screen if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble. And the description is the link is in the description in the show notes below. But now, back to the show.
No, it's a bit like Mandelson, isn't it, who wants to go over representing the UK to work for Trump. And he's suddenly saying, he said he was awful, now he's saying, oh, so roaring, or so wrong, it's this marvellous man. And I think that's really what they have to, well, they're going to try and do. They say, well, we were so mistaken. Meghan's so sorry she didn't come for lunch when she'd, you were so close. And
But is she going to be able to bring herself to do that, Angela?
No, I don't think she can. You haven't seen that of her giving in a difficult situation.
Because, I mean, others have. Mark Zuckerberg has. He's done a complete 180. There are lots of other people who've changed their position. But I think Meghan is too arrogant to do that.
Harry's changed his position, has it? The High Court taking all the money and not actually attacking. But I don't think that Meghan finds it appropriate to behave like that and actually give in. Everything that she's done is that she's made it as she wants it. I don't think if she's got a friend, that's it. But if she doesn't, then I think she just won't change. And actually compromise and apologise. She's just not made like that, is she? It's, you know, and poor old Harry, and people would hate it, but they always ask me nasty letters if I say poor old Harry. But actually, you know, he's got to sweat about this. He's panicking, isn't he? He's got no work. He doesn't know what to do. So the only thing he can do to get rid of it is to try and blame his father. Whereas Meghan doesn't really want to blame anyone. She doesn't get rid of her own anger. She just cuts people off. And I don't think.
Yeah, but Harry created this
else.
situation for himself, didn't he? He was warned.
Of course
He was
did.
warned time and again. He made those ridiculous revelations in his book. I mean, I don't view him as poor old Harry because I think he has been utterly appalling and despicable in all of his actions. And I'm sorry, if he was stupid enough to be sucked in by Meghan's lies, it's not like he wasn't warned. His own brother warned him. Meghan's own sister warned him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You're absolutely right. And he has done it wrongly. And he was appalling with his book Spare. And he's been appalling when he left the UK with Meghan and was on the plane and said, you know, we're leaving because we want to stay alive. We don't want to be here. Absolutely disgusting behavior. And people have said, this is not me, but people have said that he is so naive that he didn't think that saying something bad would have this effect and he would be cut off. He didn't believe it. Well, that is a nonsense because, I mean, he might not be that clever, but he is not so stupid that he doesn't realize that if he does say that to somebody, they're going to respond to it and he will be hurt by it. It's a real fight and it's bound to happen like that. He can't just expect to be incredibly rude and then just accept it. It's not possible. And the same with his brother and his sister-in-law, because they were just getting along, and then they have this absolute monster of a brother attacking him and leaking things to the public about him that actually are very secret and shouldn't be said. So I don't feel sorry for him for that, but I just think of a person who has got all this on their heads and they don't know what to do because they have no path ready for them.
Now, Angela, can we please talk about the woman who I just think, thank goodness she's back. Thank goodness Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is back. She is on such amazing form, given that this time last year, not only was she dealing with this secret cancer diagnosis, the whole world was beating up on her and suggesting she was either in some abusive relationship or actually dead. I mean, it was awful. But Catherine is doing her work in a way that a royal should. And there was this beautiful moment in Wales. And actually, I don't even really want to talk about it because I think the best thing to do is just watch it. And when you see Catherine emerge from the car and run towards this little girl, I just know your heart is going to melt.
Princess, say it again. Go away. Say hello, princess.
No, she...
3 cars. 3 cars. Yeah. Did you really say that when you record it?
I thought you would.
Can I shake your hand? What's your name? Hello. Very nice to meet you. Is this your banana?
Oh, no.
Yeah? Let's do it. Oh my goodness.
Sweet.
Does it?
No.
Oh no, it's got to squeak, hasn't it? But thank you for coming to say hello. I heard you saying hello from all the way back there, so I wanted to come and say hello to you. Very nice to meet you.
And you.
Thank you. You want to say hi? Very
You're
nice.
a princess.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a princess.
I want to come and see your village and see what's going on here and see this amazing factory. Yeah? Do you know what they make inside here? They make socks and jumpers. Very interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, so maybe when you're older, you're going to have a look in there. It's incredible what they're doing in there. Yeah. Very nice to meet all of you. Yeah. Hello.
Okay, it's just so adorable. It's so adorable. I have to show you it from another angle. That's how much I love that moment.
Thing is that her conversation just flows, doesn't it? She knows exactly what to say, how to say it, and you feel such warmth, and you think that she's enjoying it just as much as the little girl. I mean, she's absolutely brilliant with children, and it is, you know, it brought tears to my eyes. You'll be pleased to hear, but it is
Oh.
delightful, and that she just would stop the car, you know.
And
I mean,
it's the
she could have
way
played
she
out-
just ran. And
and she ran. She's got her high heels. She
Totally.
ran there, and she just said, "You know, I heard you say hello to me. You know, long way away." I mean, she can talk where children can absolutely understand it and know that she's actually loving them straight away.
And also,
So,
Angela, I think what's so lovely too is that she's got her confidence back, and it took a
Yeah.
huge knock. And I'm not for a single second suggesting that she shouldn't have had her confidence knocked. I mean, what the Sussex squad did to her was utterly vile, Angela, and she was trying to deal with that at the same time as this health crisis. But when we saw her last year, you could just tell this was a woman who had been completely shattered, and her confidence was shattered. But when I see her now, I would actually argue she's more confident than she was before the cancer diagnosis. And actually, Angela, I just want to, before you weigh in on it, I just want to show you it from another angle because I just love it. So let's watch this first.
You want to say
She's a princess.
see your village and see what's going on here. And see this amazing factory. Make socks and jumpers. Very interesting. Thank you everyone for saying that. I don't take I'll leave it with you.
I mean, it's just
It's
great. I
gorgeous,
could watch
isn't
all
it? The
day.
little girl wanted to give her a present, and all she had was the
The
banana.
banana, which Kate nearly took. And sorry, Catherine, I shouldn't say Kate, but every now and then I just slip back into old habits, Angela. But can I also, while we're just talking about them, also show you William? Because he's so happy at the moment and confident too. So there was these hilarious scenes of him with a
Strawberry. Oh,
he was with a water pistol first at some of it. But actually the strawberry thing, I think the strawberry thing is really funny too. So let's look at this. So this was with a guy called Big Manny, who spoke about the fact that he was extracting DNA from a strawberry. It's all a little bit odd, but it's part of a chemistry experiment. But what I loved was just William totally playing the game in this video. Watch.
Right, cool, so right here, we've got a strawberry and we're going to extract the DNA from it. Okay, so crushing the strawberry is going to release all of the cell contents and it's going to break the cell wall.
I'm Manny's beautiful assistant, by the way.
Okay, so now we're going to make the extraction solution. The salt is going to neutralize the DNA so that it can clump together. Next, we're going to add a little bit of washing up liquid. Now the dish soap is going to break down the lipids and proteins of the cell membrane. Now we're going to add the extraction solution to the strawberry. And then we just mix it up again. The next thing we're going to do is strain off the strawberry so that we can just get the pure juice. Okay, so we've got some rubbing alcohol here, also known as isopropanol. And this is going to cause the DNA to precipitate out of the solution. And right here, we have some strawberry DNA. Now, strawberries are octoploid, so they have more DNA than other fruit.
Now, Angela, our much younger producer, Jesse, has just told me Big Manny's actually a big deal. He's huge
Yes.
on TikTok, a big influence. I'm
Yes.
sorry,
Yes.
I hadn't heard of him until this video, but I guess I'm a different generation.
Well, what's so interesting is that there he is with a different generation, you see. He's so accessible, and people in his side will actually think, oh, I'm not interested in the royal family. But if this guy is, they're going to be too. And therefore he has, he can have conversations with people who wouldn't expect him to. And they will then be delighted with him because he's a lovely man. And he's also full of fun and jokes and devoted to his work. And so he just did there as if he was an assistant, not as if he was an heir to the throne. And so you couldn't say he was all snooty or anything like that. He just wanted to help and he was enjoying it. And I think that his companion will feel absolutely delighted. And I bet they meet more often because they both enjoyed that. And therefore you can attach other people in the same sort of type of person. Would be really good, would be really good. But you see, he's happy now, isn't he? There's a certain amount of relief, not entirely, but there's a certain amount of relief. And so you can explode a bit and do what you've wanted to do. And Catherine, she just wanted to be with little children and thrilled to bits that she could do that. All the things that she had to stay at home and wait and didn't have any energy for, little by little, she can do more. I mean, it is being said every time after she does something that she's not going to do everything as she used to. She's going to make sure that the timing is right.
Exactly,
but
it's
that's
special.
Right, because when she comes, she's 100% better.
Yeah, and it's special. It's special.
Yes.
I don't mind her doing a little bit less because what she's doing is special and very meaningful. And I think that's a really important thing, actually. So, no, it's been lovely. A really, really lovely week.
What do you think that little girl's parents would think? They remember it forever.
Oh, totally. And imagine her at her 21st birthday. Oh, it's great. It's great. It's just,
they'll have
and that's what I love.
And just show their daughter and say, look, this
Well, and
is
it's just so different, isn't it?
useful.
Catherine understands what it is to be real royalty. And it is in stark contrast to Meghan Markle, who, remember, said when she was doing public duties in Australia, oh, gosh, why aren't I being paid for this? And I think that just shows the real difference between the two of them.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.